Good morning, everyone. Got your coffee? I've got mine. So, listen, before I get started saying what I want to say today, there are people that I need to say thank you to. I need to say thank you so much to JL. JL, thank you so much for contributing to the Library Pantry. I appreciate you. And I want to say thank you to Ty. Ty, thank you so much. Same thing. Thank you for helping out with the Library Pantry. The community appreciates it. Thank you so much. And I also want an apology. I won't mention your name this time because that's what I should have did the last time. You supported the Library Pantry with a donation and you told me not to mention your name. And I did so anyway. And I forgot to put anonymous next to your name. And so when I wrote it down for my acknowledgements, my thank yous that morning, I inadvertently spoke your name, and I am so sorry for doing that. This is why I'm deliberate about not using last names, because you never know. You just never know. But I just wanted to go on record to say that I'm so sorry that I forgot that you told me not to do that. I apologize. I apologize. With that being said, it is pitch black when I take my husband to work now. And it is also pitch black when I come back home, from dropping him off. And seeing all these little kids out in the dark standing at the bus stop, when I tell y'all, it is breaking my heart because it's so scary to me to see these kids. And I know if I see the same two kids at this bus stop and then the same two kids at that bus stop, I know that there are people who don't have good intentions watching these kids. And it being that scary, when I tell you, it is really scaring me because it's more and more kids now. One thing that I can say about my mother is that she wasn't very, nice to me, but she was a great grandmother to my kids. And as a single mother, I didn't have to worry about that. When I would get up in the morning, after I would shower and everything, get ready for work, I didn't drink coffee back then, but I made a pot of coffee Monday through Friday, and I put the pot on for her because she's always drank coffee. She's always been a coffee drinker, and she would come in, and the first thing that she would do would be to grab a cup of coffee. I would be leaving, she would be coming. We would pass each other because she would come and get my kids off to school in the morning, every single morning for me. And so I never had to worry about them. They got a safe ride to school. By the time they got off, I was off, so I could pick them up. So I never had to worry about that with my kids, and that was such a blessing. And I always knew that was a blessing, but seeing these little babies at these bus stops, oh my God. And I always say, just throw up a thanks and say thank you that I never as a parent had to go through this. And I know that these parents are out here doing the best that they can, but my goodness, it is so scary for me. Remember, I told you about that little girl that my husband and I, we ran that predator off from her, little girl. And every time we drive down the street, one of us thinks about that. We say it out loud. Remember that guy that was chasing that little girl? They're getting bolder and bolder and bolder. The morality in this country, this country is becoming more and more dangerous. And it's becoming especially more dangerous for Black people, Black children. And when we are not there and we're not there to guard them, South Carolina, Richland County, which is the county that I live in, that's the same county where that white man shot the Black man for walking down the street. Police asked him, why'd you shoot him? He said, because he was Black. You might have heard about that. The story went nationwide. That happened right here. South Carolina, Richland County. These people, these vile, hateful people, are becoming more and more and more emboldened, and with what's going on with Black men being found hanging from trees. It's just scary times that we live in. Scary times. And and I don't want to be that old lady that walks up to, pulls alongside a kid and say, hey kid, do you want a whistle? That's inappropriate too. So, I do have those little birdie keychains. I did manage to get those, by the way. But I haven't seen the father because once again, I'm an adult. I can't approach little children like that and say, literally handing them something, walking. I'm a stranger to them. So I can't do that. So I have to wait till the father's out there. And then I got to give it to the father. But he's not out there all the time. And I am so scared for these kids. They're so little, they're just so little. And then I passed another set, and with everything that's going on, and black children, they're just such easy targets. And I'm just so scared for them. I am, which is why I wanted the whistles in the library pantry. By the way, those are disappearing. The kids are taking them. So just to keep you up on that. Speaking of white people amping up with their ridiculousness, did you all hear about Alex O'Keefe? If you don't know who Alex O'Keefe is he's one of the hit writers. He's one of the writers behind the hit show The Bear, which comes on Hulu. I canceled my Hulu. My husband and I, we had one of our discussions, and he said, I really do think that we should cancel Hulu, and he told me why. And he made excellent points. And so I said, okay, I can buy a DVD player and get the 7 seasons of the Golden Girls. All the seasons are in one, not on one disc, but on one little package containers. So anyway, season 1 is together, season 2 is together, season 3 all the way to season 7. And so I'll do that, until Disney, I don't know, get some sense about themselves again or everything. But I canceled it. They did make me the $2.99 offer, which was tempting, but I didn't take it. I did cancel Hulu. So, and I do watch the show The Bear. The Bear, it's a really good show. I haven't watched the latest season because I've been so busy doing other things, and I guess I may not ever see it. Hopefully Disney gets it together. But anyway, he was on a bus. He was on a train, rather. And some white woman, old white woman, said she didn't like the way he was sitting. I guess she felt like it was threatening. But he was literally the only black person on the train, mind you. And she called the police on him to have him removed. They arrested him and dragged this man off the train. And he was standing up for himself. He was aggressively standing up for himself. He said, this white woman decided that she didn't like the way I was sitting, and she called the police on me. Award-winning writer. With everything that is going on, black men are being found swinging from trees. White women are back at their ridiculousness again. Well, did they ever really quit? Look at all the college football players who went to jail for rape. You want to believe women, but their history, and now they are trying to take us back to a time when we feared them. And if I am this fearful for black children to be out in the dark, standing at a bus stop, is it not working on some level? Is it not? Because I am terrified for these kids. I just want to sit there, park, and watch until their bus shows up. But like I said, I don't want to be the weird old lady. What a time we're living in. And then did you see Ben and Jerry? What's going on with that? Jerry of Ben and Jerry, he's quit his little job because of everything that's going on, this current political climate where so many people are being silenced. This is a fascist America. And I blame everyone who voted the wrong way, who voted for this man. I blame everyone who didn't vote. I blame everyone who threw their vote away by voting third party. That was so ridiculous. We voting in the two-party system. It's not perfect, but it's the only system that we have. And if our votes didn't matter, they wouldn't be working this hard to steal this midterm election. Our votes matter. And we need to use our vote to vote out not only these extreme Republicans and this racist regime, but we need to use our votes to vote out every single Democrat who voted, all 95 of them, who voted for to acknowledge October 14th as Charlie Kirk Day, acknowledgement of Charlie Kirk. We need to vote out every single last one of those Democrats, because listen, no more of that when they go low, we go high shit. We can't do that. The Republicans this is not the game that they're playing. This is not the game that they're playing. This is not it. These are not people with morals and standards and principles that we're tangling with anymore. These are fascists. And so the excuse that Democrats are giving, well, the reason why we did that is because we want to stop political violence across the board, and that should be a bipartisan. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Charlie Kirk was an out loud, out proud racist. There can be no bipartisanship in that. He was a racist. He was a hateful person. He hated anyone who wasn't white, male, and straight. And rich. He was a hateful human being. Why should we acknowledge someone like that? And why are we shutting down the people who dare to speak the truth out loud? We cannot allow ourselves to become this. Do know that October 14th is also George Floyd's birthday. You know the assignment. With that being said, that is all that I have for today. If you would like to support the platform, if you would like to support the Library Pantry, if you would like to just buy me a cup of coffee, I will leave my Cash App and my Venmo down in the comments. Y'all have a righteous day. Don't be nobody's problem today. Black community, we need each other now more than ever, because if you think that racist America is not coming for us right now, you better think again. And not only are they coming for us, but the fact that 300,000 black women lost their jobs, they're coming after DEI affirmative action. They're trying to keep us from building wealth. And they're trying to cut into, dig into, and steal that $1.7 trillion in spending power that we have. They want to see us back serving them in subservient roles again. They want to see us fear them again. But we know we're not their problem. The 1% is their problem. And look at what the 1% is doing. If you think that a race war is going to get started, please know that that is not going to happen. We are already in a race war. And the only way black people are going to survive it is together. I'm going to say it to you again. The only way black people are going to survive it is if we pull together. We got to have each other's backs. And that starts with the most vulnerable amongst us. It starts with our children, and it starts with our elderly. We have to protect them. Y'all have a righteous day.